Well, break them up. The Phillies with a big 4-2 victory over the Texas Rangers, sweeping them right out of Arlington, or Phillies sweep their way out of Arlington, I should say. Danny Pomel's Ruben Amaro Jr. here with Phillies Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. How about it? A big 5.5 game lead in the National League East for the Phillies as they get the win here today. And it was a really, as you guys mentioned, a big team victory. Some defense, some pitching, some offense right when they needed it.
Yeah, they're playing a good brand of baseball, DP, and it's a great start to a very tough road trip in the dog days of August. You go down to Arlington. You hadn't won very many times over the last several years there, exact 0 times. They go sweep them. They got to play a tough team in Cincinnati, incredibly scrappy. And then you got Washington that, you know what, they match up pretty darn well against the Phillies, and they have some pretty good young players there as well. For them to play the kind of brand of baseball that they're playing right now, pitching, defense, doing a little small ball, doing the little things that are necessary to win baseball games, and that's exactly what you want to have as you get closer and closer to September.
Hey, winning isn't everything. It is the only thing. The Phillies finished this 21-game stretch against American League teams 13-8, thanks to their ace, Zack Wheeler, returning to the bump. Let's get to the eye on the mound, brought to you by PGW. Did that seem to rear its head at all for you in this outing? Did you see any uncomfortability for him out there, or did you see him coming into more of his own as we've seen for most of the season?
I've seen him making adjustments, and that's what he did today. Because he didn't have that velocity, it's a little bit of a concern. Not sure what's going to happen after the game because, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but the thing that concerns me about it is that he's had the velocities down a couple of notches, especially in this outing. Now, it could have been due to, the 8 days rest, but look at the numbers here. The four-seam fastball down a couple of miles per hour. The sinker in particular down 2.5 miles down. You see that everything was down a few notches, but he figured out a way to get through the lineup at least through the 5th inning. And listen, one of the things that you do is you make adjustments during the game. He made a serious adjustment in this particular game, going to the sweeper more, going to a couple of splits, especially against right-handers. You see the change in some of the arsenal. He's one of the guys that throws his fastball more than anybody. He felt like he didn't have his fastball today, so guess what? He went to his breaking ball and his splitter and had some success doing it. It is a concern still, though, because of the miles per hour decrease in all of his pitches. We'll see how things go here, during the next couple of days and see what the medical people and what Topper says about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor for sure because, of course, we hear about the shoulder soreness. We get the couple of extra days rest. But here late in the season, you do hear that phrase, dead arm a little bit sometimes. Can you elaborate on that a little bit and how that might apply to Wheeler?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys who's been a workhorse, right? He's averaged 100 pitches pretty much every single game for the last 22, 23 starts, down to about 81 or so today. But, this is a guy who's fired a lot of bullets. He's been super durable. He's been excellent. But, there comes a time during the course of the season when pitchers get to the point where they just don't have it. Now, we saw some of this last year. We've seen it in the past from Wheeler and from other guys where they go through a little bit of a lull there, and then they bounce back and they can fire. You saw that happen with Wheeler in the playoffs the last couple of years. I hope there's nothing serious. I hope it's just the sort of the dead arm period, and he's working through it. It's nice to see him still be able to pick up 7 punch-outs, keep the team in the game, and get the W here at the end.
Yeah, we know no one wants to pitch lights out more than Zack Wheeler himself. Peaks and valleys for sure when it comes to a season of pitching and eating innings like he does, but on the field.
There's no question about it. And you look at the lineup, the guys that really produce, you got the big base hit from Harper early in the game to drive in Trey Turner, but the bottom of the lineup was outstanding. 4 for 10 with a home run, 2 runs, and 3 RBIs out of the 7, 8, and 9-hole guys. They also had sacrifice flies and sacrifice bunts. They did the little things that were necessary to turn the lineup over, create runs, and make things happen. When a team does that, that's a championship caliber team, and that's what we sort of expected in the early part of this season. We're finally getting it now, and it's pretty darn good timing as far as I'm concerned.
If you look at the flow of this game, they were getting no hit until the 4th inning. They have their slugger, the big-time leader of this team, Bryce Harper, number 3, coming through to get them on the board. And then the bottom of the order kind of backs up everything else.
Yeah, and that's huge. And again, that lifts the team up, because then the big boys don't have to be relied on every single night of the season. And when you have that kind of production at the bottom of the lineup, it rolls right into the top of the lineup. I mean, it can really fuel you. And that was huge. It's something we've been waiting for pretty much all year long. We had not been getting it, but as of late, Marsh is swinging the bat better. He made an adjustment. Stott is swinging the bat much better. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame, and he got a couple of base hits. Nice job by those guys. Edmundo Sosa seems to contribute every single game, but it's nice to have the bottom of the lineup do some damage for a change.
Phillies are packing up their bags, ready to leave Texas and head to Cincinnati with a three wins in a row in their back pocket. Let's hear from Rob Thomson in Texas after this victory.
Pretty solid, fundamental weekend, all in all, right? Like every way you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good series. This is a good club, and they've been playing well, especially at home. They're in 12-2 in the last 14 at home, and I thought we played very well. The first inning today, there was potential double play ball. There was a ball that dropped between our middle infielders and Bader. But other than that, I thought we played extremely well.
Rob Wheeler clearly didn't have his best stuff. So, what are you making him grinding through 5 innings?
It was
so
great.
Well? And
yeah, it was
are
great.
You concerned at all?
No, I'm not concerned. They're working on some stuff, and he just looks a little bit out of sync. The velocity's not there, but his secondary stuff was good. He got a lot of whiff. 7 strikeouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
A couple of walks, but 7 strikes. He just looks like he's just a little out of sync. That's all.
You pulled him at 83. Were you planning to pull back on him going into this start?
No, not necessarily, but just read and react, and it just looked like he was a little bit out of sync. So he grinded through 5, and that was great. And he pitched today.
Have you talked to him at all? Just how is he feeling after?
Great. No, I talked to him 3rd inning. Well, after the 1st inning, I talked to him. I talked to him after the 4th, and then and told him it was going to be 1 more inning.
So the fact that he was pushed back 2 days for a shoulder and his velocity was down across the board, that's not concerning for him right now?
Not at this point. We'll see how he feels tomorrow. That'll be the telltale sign. But I think it's just one of those days, and he had extra rest. Maybe he's rusty. He's not on his normal routine. So just have to wait and see.
What did you make of that catch Bader made near the
Unbelievable. We played really good defense today. Trey made a heck of a play. Bader made a heck of a play. This whole series, well, for a while now, we talked about before the game, we've been playing really solid defense.
You went to strong all 3 games of the series.
Yeah.
It's not something that you typically do this point of the year. What went into that decision?
Just he came in today and said he felt great. So now I'll probably have to give him a couple days off.
Offensively, it was kind of a different guy, and lower in the order guys all 3 days this weekend. It seems like when you guys are at your best, that's kind of what you're getting.
Yeah, when you get production from the bottom of the lineup, it really helps, And our 6, 7, 8, 9 guys were really good this weekend. So we just keep moving forward.
All right, how about it? Rob Thomson saying Zack Wheeler, the tale will be told tomorrow to see how he feels after making this start here today. But a big victory here for this team. What did you hear from Thomson that you thought made sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he does not like to pitch when it's not like his normal, his normal routine. It is possible that some of his mechanics were off a little bit. Maybe he wasn't behind the baseball and being able to drive with his mechanics as he typically does. But I do have some concern about the life on his stuff and the command. They're going to have to talk to the folks and see how Zack feels. I mean, it is a little bit of a concern because the average velocities are down, but we'll know a lot more probably tomorrow, and hopefully it's not injury, and hopefully it's just soreness and maybe him being a little bit out of sync.
Really quick, the Phillies were 28-28 on the road coming into the series against the Rangers to get these 3 wins, and they showed a little something here that helped bring them some momentum. What did you see from them on the road here in this series that kind of helped them get this 3-game sweep?
Yeah, I think it's really important when you come into a place that you really haven't had success, and the team that was playing there has had a ton of success. there's a tendency to kind of let things go. But these guys just played good, solid baseball. The defense was excellent. They had got great pitching just overall. Texas has struggled offensively pretty much all year long, but they started to swing the bats a little bit better as of late. But they stifled them, and they did a really nice job of just playing good all-around baseball in a place that hasn't been really friendly to them in the last several years. So really good start to this long road trip, and hopefully they can continue this stuff in Cincinnati.
Yeah, the Rangers had some fantastic defensive plays, so it seemed like the momentum might have been going their way, but the Phillies come through when it mattered most, particularly this pitching showed up from the bullpen to the starter. Back on Phillies Postgame Live, and while the Phillies have won 6 of their last 7 in a sweep of the Texas Rangers, the Mets have lost 7 in a row, including 11 of 12, Ruben. The swoon by this Metropolitan team. Very interesting. The Guardians and the Brewers really taking it to them these past couple of games. Well, let's move ahead to our electrifying moment brought to you by Toyota, and it is the man with the fantastic intro, Johan Duran. Ruben calls it a slider. We will call it a slider. But here is the bullpen as a whole. 1, 2, 3, 4. A hit from each of them, but no harm done.
Yeah, now the beauty of this is there's no walks. I mean, I don't have a problem with guys getting hit as long as they throw strikes and they get outs. And that's exactly what all of these guys have been doing. They've been doing it really consistently. And when you line up this bullpen the way now Topper can line it up, with Duran in the ninth, you can push all of those guys in the right spot. You have Robertson, who just got back. He's going to be joining the crew. And you got Alvarado, who's throwing right now in Lehigh Valley and throwing pretty darn well. I mean, you're talking about now a stacked bullpen as opposed to what it was. It was ranked like 25th or 26th in all of baseball. That's going to change pretty dramatically over the next month or so.
Yeah, another big-time performance from Jose Alvarado today in Lehigh Valley. He did not give up a run and had a great appearance, but we will hear from Rob Thomson a bit earlier, but let's go to Zack Wheeler here in the clubhouse.
Physically, how do you feel after having to start push back a couple days and then pitching today?
Felt a lot better. Felt good, felt healthy. Still just a little off, so just got to keep working at that, but it wasn't the prettiest today, but got through it.
When you say a little off, like what's the little off, Zach?
Just, I don't know, trying to figure that out, honestly. The past, 4 starts have been off, but, just that part of the season where, the innings are starting to rack up a little bit, so, it's just catching up to me a little bit, but I just got to push through it. It's all just a cycle, so it'll come back around and I'll be fine.
When did the shoulder first start feeling? Was it the day after your last start?
Honestly, it's been a while. I finally just got to that point to where, we just wanted to go get an image of it so we can treat specifically what needed to be treated, and not try to just guess. So, we did that, and today I felt perfectly normal. So, just those couple days and getting the right treatment in helped me out.
The velo was down across the board. Do you think that was something to do with the extra time off, or is that something that you're concerned about at all?
I'm not concerned. I've pitched at that velo before. It'll come back. So.
But you don't have your best stuff in the works today to grind through 5, coming out of the first inning. Let's go.
Yeah, it's harder to pitch at that velo than it is at, say, 95, 96. It's just you don't get as many swings and misses or as many foul balls. It's a little easier to hit. So you just got to be a little bit more. You got to locate a little better. And today was a little better than the past few starts, but it wasn't great. So my off speed was really working for me today, the splitter and the sweeper. So that definitely helped me out.
The way you and Rob talk about it, just real quick, is like normal. Like this is just something. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been around baseball for a while, guys go through, different times in the season where they might not have their best stuff or, a few starts in a row. So, it's just it for me right now, and, it'll come back around.
You take a lot of pride in never shaking out JT. I think you maybe did a couple times in the boards. That just doesn't feel
I think I did one time. I was just trying to go back to a high fastball after I threw one, and I don't think he saw me shake. So he was already setting up to where the pitch was supposed to go, and I looked, and he was like kind of panicking back there, and there was like 3 seconds left, so he just threw down something, and I just threw it to the backstop. So, yeah.
Zack Wheeler saying it wasn't the prettiest, but he got through it. Really speaking to your point about the peaks and valleys of a pitcher's season, that it's all a cycle, he said as well, because he's looking to bounce back from this and is optimistic, saying he felt good when he got out there today.
Well, that was really good news. Now, you got to take him at face value that he was feeling okay. And when he said I felt perfectly normal, that's good. He'll probably know a little bit more about it tomorrow when he wakes up in the morning and shakes out his shoulder a little bit. But that's a really good sign. And there are times, and I've talked about this before, and I think I've talked about this on this program, where and it's a long season. There you go through periods where they just don't have the same amount of life, the arm speed, whatever you want to call it. And we talk about it saying it's a dead arm period, but that's a reality. I mean, that happens sometimes, and hopefully that's exactly what this is, and maybe a little mechanical thing or two. And because this is a team that absolutely needs Zack Wheeler to be at the top of this rotation. He's one of the best right-handers in baseball. He's one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. And if they don't have him at the top of the rotation for the playoffs or for short series, then things get a little dicier for them. And that's all about the athleticism, which is what he has, which also makes you think this guy can play some pretty good outfield probably as well. But it's really nice to see him play the solid defense that is necessary for a championship caliber club. He's been doing it for the last month or two. It's been outstanding. The metrics show it. The eye test shows it, and that's good stuff for the Phillies.
You touched on this a bit earlier, particularly when you're trying to figure out ways to improve this team, figure out how to get them out of a slump and build some momentum here down the stretch. Trey Turner at shortstop was not a sure thing for a little bit of the season, but he's shown the improvement that you just discussed. What have you seen from Trey, and how do you think he's been able to turn it around a little bit?
I think there's a confidence level. Even when you're a veteran player and you start feeling confident about your overall play, I see that in everything he's doing right now defensively. Bobby Dickerson worked with him, and he worked very, very hard with Trey Turner all during the course of the spring. He knew he had to improve. He wanted to improve. You can see the things that Bobby Dickerson was working on with him happening pretty much on the daily now. And you see the confidence in the player. You can be a kid that's been there for like 5 days or a veteran who's been there for 10 years. When you start feeling confident about your game, you just play better, and it sort of snowballs in the right way. And I think that's what's happening with Trey Turner right now.